All right. Time for Money in the Bullshit 2021. I didn't like this pay-per-view, can you tell? I'm sorry. I just think that it was too stupid. Decisions that were made were the wrong ones. Start with the pre-show. Wrong decision number 1. The Usos beat the Mysterios for the tag team titles. I really think that if they were going to do that, they shouldn't have done it on a pre-show. I mean, it's a pre-show. As they always say, it doesn't count, right? So that means that by that alone, when Friday comes along, the Mysterios should have the tag titles because pre-shows don't count. I just know. Mysterios should have won here. They hadn't had them long enough. And they should have waited. We get to the main show. We had the women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Zelina Vega versus Liv Morgan versus Tamina versus Natalya versus Asuka versus Nikki Ash versus Alexa Bliss. Women. And then this was fine. Some things going, off and stuff, but yeah. Just hold on a minute. And I just, yeah, there's, some good moves here and there. I don't really remember it, to be honest. It was the first match of the night, and I don't know. Everything that happened after this was a little more. There's a lot of stuff that happened. It wasn't even like about the show, but like Nikki Ash won. Like they all went up. There was like a bunch of ladders. They all went up, and everybody was fighting. And Nikki Ash just comes up and grabs the Money in the Bank, and it's just like, why? The story they were telling was completely different. They were telling the story of Liv Morgan, so that's why I thought she was gonna win, but she didn't. They gave it to Nikki Ash because we gotta have a funny character. She's not gonna be champion. If it was Nikki Cross, yes. But with this new character, there's no way she's going to win the championship. It's like with Otis last year. As much as I loved Otis, and I picked him last year, he wasn't going to win no championship, right? And they didn't. They gave it to The Miz. So she's holding it for someone else or something, I don't know, but no, she ain't going to win no title. Especially after what happened later. So, yeah, after that we had AJ Styles and Nomos versus the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar. And, yeah, it was a fine match. I think this was the only match that didn't really piss me off because it was the only one where I really got right. Well, 2. But out of the 2, I got 2 right. I don't know why I didn't cross off the rip me on here, but yeah. It's fine. Almost did all the work as he would. But yeah, and in the end, he just almost retained, which is what should have happened. It's one of 2 decisions that should have happened. Although a lot of bad decision making tonight. So that's bad decision number 2 was the women's Money to Make ladder match. Okay, so from that we have surprisingly Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. And right away, that really pissed me off because that means my whole idea, which I thought was going to be Vince. I was trying to think like Vince McMahon, and he out Vince McMahon me. You get what I mean? Because I knew what was going to happen, Drew McIntyre was going to win Money in the Bank, and he was going to cash in on either Bobby or Kofi. And I thought Kofi was going to win by the skin of his teeth. And then Drew was going to cash in. But we having this before the men's Money in the Bank. So that ain't happening. So instead, and being what happened during at the end of the Roman Reigns Edge match, I can see why they put that one in the main event. But then, I don't know. Anyway, this match, the only thing I remember about this match is, butter! Okay, so me and Big LT got in an argument during this match. where he was talking about, I thought Bobby Lashley won the title back in January. Turns out he won it in March, but I didn't want to hear it. So, and eventually Chippy Through would get in on it. And I went, hey, Chippy Through, look, butter! Just because I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to be wrong. So, yeah, I got to stop messing with it because it's melting in my hands. Butter! Okay, now it's all smooshed. Don't eat raw butter, folks. That was... Don't do that. I gotta put it in the thing. So I lick my fingers. Just fit in the... There we go. Alright. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. It was a dominant Lashley. I mean, Lashley loves them women. But he's got to put them aside for one night to beat up Kofi Kingston. And he does. There's times he did like 3 in a row of the Dominator. And I thought, okay, this is what should happen. He goes for another Dominator or 2 in a row and he goes for a third one. And Kofi rolls him up. He goes to do that and then Bobby reverses it and puts him in the Hurt Lock and he taps. And that's it. Next, we have Rhea Ripley versus Charlito for the Raw Women's Championship. So I said to myself, Rhea's got to win because she hasn't had it that long and Charlotte, Charlotte doesn't deserve to win it because she's had so many freaking titles. But so they had a match that was, riddled with almost countouts or whatever. But there was the Roman Reigns match did it too, but there was some countouts here too, almost countouts here too. But they just went back and forth, and then we have confusion because this match finished with what should have been a disqualification, but because Charlotte did it, it's okay. Here's what happened, folks. End of the match, Charlotte grabs Rhea Ripley's leg, puts it in between the ring steps and the ring post, and kicks the ring steps. Now, remind me, how did their last match end? With Rhea Ripley grabbing the top of the announce table and flinging it up, hitting Charlotte Flair in the head, and the referee called for a disqualification. So, if that thing that has never, ever caused a disqualification until now can cause a disqualification, why can't that? Because Charlotte did it. That's why. And so she did that, and she grabbed her leg, she put him in a figure 8, and Rhea tapped. And I said, okay, I know why they did it. Charlotte did it. So they let Charlotte win because earlier on Instagram, I saw a picture from Becky Lynch's Instagram account that showed her at the Dickies Center in Fort Worth, Texas. So I thought that's what they're going to do it. Charlotte's going to win. Becky's going to come out. And they're going to set up Charlotte versus Becky for the 1 millionth freaking time. But she never came out. I was like, what? They just cut to a commercial. And then Peacock never took a shit. Because it just went all over the place. It went, and I couldn't even tell you what was going on. Something with Riddle, Nakamura, and Rick Boogs in the back. And Kevin Owens just like... But I couldn't tell you what they were saying because it was all glitchy. We had the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I couldn't tell you what happened in the first half of this match because the Peacock app was going nuts. It took a shit and it was going in and out. I couldn't know. I couldn't tell you what happened. This was nuts. Absolutely nuts. And then the thing is, I restarted it, went back in, still wouldn't work. And then a few minutes later, 10 minutes later, or 5 minutes later, whatever, a friend of ours said, oh, I restarted it, and it worked. And I did that. So I didn't restart it again, and it worked. I'm like, So we saw it again. There were some good spots in the end of this. Seth Rollins did kicking people in the head and stuff like that, and Ricochet did the flippity doos, and Kevin Owens died. Or no, not Kevin Owens. Ricochet died. He went through the freaking Kevin Owens go through a ladder. Ricochet also died at one point. Surprisingly, the winner of the men's Money in the Bank briefcase was Big E. So, going into this, there was two people that it could have been that made sense. Riddle didn't make any sense. Big E didn't make any sense because they moved past his push. I thought, Morrison didn't make any sense because they just had the Miz do it, so how is he going to win? Ricochet didn't make any sense. The only two that made sense were Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. And I'm sure Drew was a lock to win. But since the Kofi and Bobby match happened before this, I was like, there's no way he's going to win now. Although they could have had fun with it. So my mind immediately went to Seth Rollins. He's probably going to win. And he's going to cash in on Edge later in the night. And they're actually going to have a title match at SummerSlam. Nope. Big E won. And I just don't. Bad decision number 5. Because the Charlotte one was number 4. Okay, so let's go back. We had the pre-show match, bad decision number 1. Women's Money in the Bank, bad decision number 2. Making the Kofi Bobby match before the men's Money in the Bank, bad decision number 3. Having Big E win, having Charlotte win, bad decision number 4. And number 5 is this one. So that's 5 bad decisions, and we got one more bad decision yet to go. So, our main event, obviously, was Roman Reigns versus Edge for the WWE Universal Championship. And I didn't care about this match. I only wanted to know what was going to happen after the match. Because you know what was going to happen? Seth Rollins was going to come out. He was going to interrupt the match. He was going to cost Edge the championship. All I wanted was for it to happen in a way where Roman wouldn't lose the match. Like, he could win by disqualification, but I didn't want to lose the match because he was my pick. So the match was going back and forth. It was pretty good, but I didn't care because I knew how it was going to end. If you already know that it's going to end in a certain way, you don't care. I knew Seth Rollins was going to come out and interrupt it, so I didn't care. So we're going. And I keep saying, well, how is he going to happen so that Roman wins, not get disqualified? And it happened. Chucky Robinson, the referee, gets knocked out, taking nappy time. Seth Rollins ends up coming out, kicking Edge in the head, and Roman goes for a spear, but Edge counters it into another spear. Apparently, at some point in this match, Big LT said that I didn't see it because I was kind of not paying attention, but there was at some point that Paul was going, and then it kicked out, so he wasn't. So, yes. Eventually, though, the referee was knocked out. Edge, Roman, and I thought it was so funny. Roman goes to get a chair, but he breaks off that little thing so he could put it in Edge's mouth. Edge reverses it and does it the same. And Roman Reigns is on the verge of passing out or whatever. And Seth Rollins kicks him in the head. And then, they get back in there. Like I said, Edge spears him back, and they go to another spear. Edge reverses or whatever, and or Edge kicks out, whatever, and they going back and forth. Seth Rollins gets involved again and costs him the match. And Roman is the Universal Champion. And now we get to bad decision number 6. So, I know they've been hyping up fans and everything. Oh, it's rumored that it's going to be Cena versus Reigns. But then, at some point, there was an announcement Cena's not going to be at SummerSlam. he's not going to be there. Because originally, the rumors were Cena versus Roman, Bobby versus Brock. But I had heard that Cena pulled out. Which, anyway, so I figured, and then rumors started around that Goldberg is going to face Bobby at SummerSlam, which nobody wants that, but, you know, since that's happening, I figured they decided to switch Brock to SmackDown to challenge Roman Reigns, which is a storyline that needs to happen. If Brock is coming back, they need to do that, because Paul Heyman is now with Roman. Brock needs to come out and they need to have this, you know, kind of thing with Paul Heyman, like who's he going to pick, you know? When it happened with CM Punk, it was obvious he's going to go to Brock, but Paul Heyman is very influential with Roman. So, what would happen? So, I'm ready. I'm waiting. Edge and Rollins, they're fighting, and they fight in the crowd, and they leave the area. I'm like, all right. Roman Reigns gets microphone. I'm like, he's talking, something's going to happen. I'm ready. And John Cena comes out. And I'm done. I'm just done. They made so many wrong decisions. 6 of them! 6 wrong decisions. What should have been obvious going in, Vince McMahon is like, well, they took me to do this. Well, fuck them. You know, because it's just like, duh. Vince McMahon has been doing the obvious all pandemic. And now he decides, I'm going to be spontaneous. Giving Nikki Ash the title, nobody predicted Nikki Ash to win. No one. Big E, yes, there were some that picked Big E, but it wasn't me. Because, no offense to Big E, he doesn't deserve it. Give it to someone who deserves it. Now, Big E deserves to be a world champion, but the Money in the Bank is not a way to do that. You know? Give him a title shot. Have him win. Money in the Bank, the Money in the Bank doesn't have the same oomph as it once did. Especially since they started ruining it. Last year, really ruined the Money in the Bank with Otis not cashing in, having a lunchbox for God's sakes, and then giving it to The Miz. No. And then what they did with Asuka, oh, you didn't fight for the Money in the Bank briefcase, you fought for the Raw Women's Championship. We're just going to switch it around, do that. We're not going to have a storyline for anything. We're just going to give her the championship. You know, so it's not really a big deal anymore to me. So, yeah. And the winners that they picked, to me, just doesn't do anything for me. And then we got John Cena coming back, which... Did anyone want that? I don't care. I wanted Brock Lesnar. I want the Ultimate Farmer. I wanted him to come back and be like, I'm done with my cows. You took my Paul, and I'm going to beat you and take Paul back and that championship. Him and his new man bun and his beard. Come on. Now, I'm hoping that the news is actually wrong about Goldberg, too. I want Brock to show up on Raw, because Brock versus Bobby would be good, too. But I know it ain't going to happen. So I'm not going to get my whiskers in a bunch or whatever it was the thing is. But anyway, to me, this was disappointing. I didn't really like it. And to me, the Slammiversary was better. Just because there was better surprises and better moments. But yeah, all in all, kind of disappointing for me. But what are your thoughts on SummerSlam? Money in the Bank 2021. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't eat butter.